Hello. This video is going to be a three-part video. It's going to be titled Closed Down Buildings and Forgotten Streets of Dundee. And it's basically what I've done is I've went round old buildings and that have been closed for many years, and some old streets that have been forgotten about, hardly used. Now I've got to make it clear on this video that when I was making this, the videos were done over different days and it was done in different sections. And I had different ideas for the title of the video at the time. I never actually came up with a specific title. The first one was going to be called Derelict Dundee, but I quickly changed that title because the buildings are, although when in filming, I may be saying in the video that the buildings are derelict. Well, they aren't necessarily derelict as such. They could be under development. There might still be, plans to reuse them. So it's not necessarily derelict. Even although I use the word derelict sometimes in the video, it doesn't actually mean that they're derelict. So I've had to revise that. Especially the House of Grey, that's actually going to be getting, that's under development. And it's been checked daily by it's security to make sure that it's not damaged in anything, because they are planning on opening that up. So I had to revise a few of the lines that I said, because I'm just learning. I haven't done an awful lot of research into it, but I've got the videos and photos that I'm going to show you of the streets and buildings. So it's quite a long. So instead of doing the whole thing, I've split it into three parts, and that'll hopefully make it a bit easier for you to watch them at a more leisurely pace rather than try to sit and watch all of it in a winner. So I hope you enjoy it anyway. This will be the first part, part A, and then the next part will go up later. You'll get an introduction that'll be part B and part C basically. And hopefully you'll enjoy it, and hopefully it'll turn out okay for you. Okay, so sit back, relax, and enjoy my project. It's titled, I've got the final title made. It says Closed Down Buildings and Forgotten Streets of Dundee. Okay, right, enjoy. This is the strange street at Strathmartin Hospital. Strathmartin Hospital there. Having another look at Strathmartin Hospital. Scary. It's an old chimney, and there's a great big drop down there. So it's a pretty spooky place, quite a scary place. There's loads of these holes and that. Could you imagine if you'd fallen down that, knocked yourself out, and then woken up when it was dark and couldn't find your way out? Could you imagine how scary that would be? Could you imagine how scary it would be for me if I saw somebody on the screen behind me while I'm looking this way? A lot of ghost stuff. It is actually quite scary. And this is during the day. This is the boiler room chimney. Keep hearing these noises behind me, but it's just wind echoing or stuff blowing around that echoing off the building. Kind of gives you, and of course we've got the birds flying around, flapping their wings out the trees, and that's gives you a little bit of a scare when you're in an abandoned place like this. So what I'll say is quite important, very important. I would never recommend anybody go in any of these buildings. They're extremely dangerous. In fact, I wouldn't even recommend anybody come on this land because technically it's not open to the public. It's not supposed to be here. It's extremely dangerous. There's lots of hidden hazards. Very, very dangerous. So I say don't come on this land. It's very, unless you've got a legitimate reason, of course. But these buildings are extremely dangerous. There's asbestos, any bits of concrete that could just fall off, you know. Like I said earlier, you can imagine falling down one of these holes or something falling on your head and you get knocked out and then you wake up when it's dark. That's the least of your worries. And you get fogged in there and it could be game over, eh? I mean it's deadly dangerous, so no exaggeration. Yeah, scaries and ghost stories is one thing, but that's really dangerous. Like I say, I don't recommend you do it, okay? Unless, of course, you've got a legitimate reason, obviously, but I know I'm going against my own advice, but I wouldn't advise anybody risk their own life for it, okay? It's actually going to be getting dark shortly, so I won't be hanging about. So we're at the west boundary fence of Strathmartin Hospital, and that's all the view you get at the west boundary. You see Dundee Crags and that on the horizon. And obviously behind me is the old hospital grounds. Yeah, so that's looking out west on the boundary fence. I just spotted some deer running along there, just coming out the wilderness. Actually, there it is there. 3 of them. And they come out very clear, but so 3 deer just running about there. I've hung a bit long enough in here. It's starting to get dark. Pretty spooky, eh? Right. I think that'll do just now, eh? It's not coming out very clear on this at all, obviously. It's just too dark for it. Right, that'll do it. Okay, that's us back in the car now. That's enough for me, I've had enough. I've had a look around. You can't see anything in the dark. I strongly advise not to go on these grounds in the dark or any time. It's far too dangerous, and certainly don't go in the buildings when it's dark. You fall down any of the holes or anything happens to you in a place like that, it's game over. So that's my advice. Unless, of course, you've got a legitimate reason, obviously. But I would strongly advise not to do it. So I've seen enough. I've took videos and photos, and I'm just going to get up the road. An early shift tomorrow, so that's enough for me. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye now. Right, Hello, it's another day. It's a better day anyway. It's brighter than the last time you saw it. So behind me is the House of Grey. Grey spelled G-R-A-Y. It's an old, disused house. So it's in the Den of Grey area. So further up there's Liff. It's the village of Liff. And behind me would be there's a walk, public walkway from the road that runs through Den of Grey, and this walkway just goes along to continues on to Benvie, the village of Benvie. So I could show you that, how to get to that later on, but I'm just going to have a wee look around this old house, this disused building. So I'll get this turned round and I'll get the videos and photos for you. Okay. And so it's quite a nice day for this. This is part of the DERELICT Dundee project. My project. My Dundee project. I'll make my way up. So this will be the south facing wall, or the front will be, this is facing south, but the building, the house is facing south. So I'm just walking around the east side of it. So this is the east corner, and just I don't know much about this place. I don't know anything about it actually. I just heard about it recently and just come to explore it. Add it onto my Dundee project, Dundee DERELICT project. So what I see here is as much a surprise to you as it is to me if you don't know what's wrong here. Because I don't remember ever being here before. This is a total adventure for me now. So the House of Grey, this is. So this is the north facing wall. What's wrong this corner? Jeez. Alright. I'm going to be extra careful because I don't know the condition of this building. Be careful what I'm standing on and what's above me. I don't want anything falling on my head, or I don't want it to be falling through the floor. Well, it seems pretty solid. So that's just where I came out. I just had a wee look in there. It looks like it's some sort of, I don't know, that's, doesn't seem like a chimney, but it isn't a chimney. But there isn't any stairs or anything I'll have another look at that later. I'm going to just get around this building and I'll come back to that later on. So as I say, this is the first time that I can recall ever being here. I don't know anything about this. It was just called the House of Grey, and sure there'll be some historians out there that'll know what this is about. You don't even need to be a historian, you'll probably know anyway. Owned by the Greys. That's about, I don't really know much about the background of it. I never researched into it. I just discovered that it was here, kind of thing. Although I've lived in Dundee all my life, there's lots of parts and buildings that are yet to be explored, old ones. So like I was saying earlier, there's a path that walks, you can walk from the Den of Grey Road. So if you're coming off the Kingsway at the Swallow Hotel roundabout, you would just follow the road up and then you'll come, if you go maybe about half a mile, maybe about 3/4 of a mile up, heading for Liff. But yeah, before you get to Liff, you got the old sign saying House of Grey, and you'll see the photographs that I took of it, and there's the green walkway route sign pointing Benvie a mile in this direction. So there's that, basically the dirt track. I don't think you're allowed to take your car on it unless you live in the houses or something. So I just parked on the main road, like, and just, it's not far from it, 5-minute walk. And then this is just, it's literally down there's where the dirt track is, and it's only just a stone throw up from it, basically. All the windows are bricked up. It's probably not safe to go in anyway. So if you're on this, just got to be careful of the condition of the stairs and stuff, and make sure there's no big slabs of concrete or anything that's going to fall off, and you just got to have your wits about you when you're around derelict old buildings. Common sense, really. So obviously the Fife and that, the River Tae's running along there, and Fife in the background. But there's a lot of trees. It's kind of like surrounded with trees, this manor house land. So this is just the ground that lies at the north of the manor house. and up there we'll be heading towards Lith. Right, I said I would come back to this bit earlier. It's basically, it was a staircase that went up, but at the bottom, at the doorway, that staircase has been taken away. So it's only like stopping halfway up. The staircase comes down to about there, and then the bottom bit's all removed. So I'll try turning this round and using the infrared camera setting, or I might shine the light off my phone to see if I can get the video to pick up on here. So I'll turn this round for that. Right, so I've got the camera set, the camcorder set on the infrared, see if it'll, so it'll be in black and white, unfortunately. Now, as I say, you've got to be careful going in, even though it's not fully in, it's still kind of, so you can maybe just make out the stairs. I just don't. So they're kind of going up, spiralling up there. That, by the way, that kind of effect is my breath. That's what that is. It's not a ghost. It's just because it's cold. So you're going to see that on the camera. In case you thought it was something, whatever it was. But we just got to be careful with bricks or slabs of masonry come crashing down on my head. I've no hard hat on or anything. Shouldn't really be in here, but so that's really what I'll see if what's a nest. I don't know if it's worth shining the torch up because it's just, I think that's as clear as you're going to get. Right, so I'll put this back on the ordinary setting. Yeah, so that would have basically went up, that would have obviously went into this part of the building, that staircase. But that's as much as I got in, because everything else is just boarded up and bricked over. I mean, I wouldn't have risked going in anyway, because you don't know the condition. It could be very dangerous. I just say, imagine if you fell down through a hole in the floor, knocked yourself out, and then woken up and it was pitch dark, and you're on your own. Nobody knows where you are. It's not a nice thought. But yeah, it's probably got all the haunted stories stuff, and I'm sure it will. I'll research into it. Actually, I'll do a bit more. I love all that sort of stuff, haunted stories, haunted houses. Used to watch all these horror stuff or the ghost films when I was a kid, like Amityville Horror and House of Horror, all that stuff. Loved it. I'll get a view around the front. Right, so I'm just round the other side, so it's the southeast corner of it. I think actually more it's officially called Mains of Grey. Mains House. House of Grey, Mains of Grey. But it's about probably a mile just on the outskirts of Dundee, on the northwest. Where just the Swallow Hotels is basically down the road there. So I'll follow more for you. Right, so I'm just doing a bit more around the front. It's quite an unusual looking tree actually. It's very flat at the top. Strange tree. But these places are a lot more scarier when the boards are off the windows and the doors are open, because you get the feeling that all the or the ghosts or whatever could come out, the zombies. But when it's all boarded up, it's like they're all locked in. So it doesn't feel quite as scary as the Strathmartin Hospital, because there was windows and doors open there. You just get the feeling somebody's like looking out of it. Right, okay. That's a really, really bizarre tree, actually. So I've catalogued a lot of these strange trees over various places, different places, and this is just nuts. There's an absolute belter at Maniki Reservoir is a topper of a tree there. It's just, it's not from this planet, it's really strange looking. There's quite a lot of them like that coming down as well. But if you look back at my videos on my YouTube channel, I've covered some of that. But this is now at the southwest corner of the Mains of Grey House. And the grounds, I think, just pretty much, as far as I could see, it's just surrounded with all these trees. But there's actual houses, people living in these houses down there. And there's another one down there as well, so it's still occupied. I don't know if that came out very well because I had the microphone switched off. And I was just saying the boundary, in case you never heard it, I had the microphone off. It's just, this seems to be the boundary. It's surrounded with trees, and there's a house there that's been lived in, and there's a house there that's also been lived in, so this is occupied, that area. And this is the southwest corner of the Mains of Grey House. I don't know, as I say, I had the microphone off unfortunately, so I just might not have came out very well, but I was just on about the strange trees. There's a topper in, there's lots of them, I've been cataloguing a few, and there's one strange looking tree at Maniki Reservoir, and there's loads in Camperdown as well, but I've covered that on my YouTube video, if you look back on my channel. So I just repeated that in case you never heard me. That was all. If you had heard me the first time, then that's fine. It's a separate microphone, I've got to turn it on manually on this camcorder. I must don't trip over all this stuff here. There's overgrowth. Still looks pretty spooky, like. Still scary looking. It would be even more scary, as I say, if the windows were open. You know, if they weren't boarded up. It's just looking right into the scary building. Right, that'll do then. Okay, so, and on the east side, or the east boundary of the Mains of Grey House, and this looks like the boundary fence. You might be able to just make that out, it runs up. It's just kind of like, doesn't go much further out than this, all round pretty much. And behind, that's where in part, and just on the main road, it's not far. And from that road there, as I say, there's up like a dirt track that goes to Benbury. I'll show you the signs when I get there, because I'm going to be able to make my way back to the to my car now. I've done enough filming and videoing for you there for just now. I've got other things to do for you as well, so I'm going away to head back to the car, and then I'll get the other places filmed for you. It's a nice day, so, but there's limited time because it gets dark earlier, obviously now. So right, I'll show you the sign when I get to the road. The signs at the pointing to Benbury. Okay, so I'm going to go now. Right, that's as just pretty much heading back to my car. So that's the sign that's pointing to Benvie. It's a mile to Benvie, about 20-25 minute walk. I actually just learned that the building, the Mains of Grey house, isn't actually abandoned. It's still under development. It's owned, and there's plans to get it opened up again. So it is actually still in use. It's still it's not derelict. Although it's in this video, it isn't actually derelict. I just learned that. I didn't know much about the house before that. So just a little bit of information there anyway. It's still under, there is plans to open it up. That's the Mains of Grey house, or the House of Grey as I called it earlier. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next part now, the next areas from the video. Right, my next building for my project for old buildings is Camperdown House, which is obviously in the centre of Camperdown Country Park. So this has been shut down for many years as well. It's been closed down for many years. Now, I'm not going to say that all the buildings on this video are derelict as such, because like I learned earlier about the House of Grey, that was actually, there's plans to get that open again. It's under development. So this building could be the same, but the title of the video doesn't really mean necessarily that all the buildings are derelict, but it's been closed down for a long time. So that's what the video is about. It's just the old buildings that have been shut for a long time. So I'll get this camera turned round and I'll start filming and photographing Camperdown House for you. So this is the east facing, well, the main entrance to the building, the Camperdown House, Country House, Camperdown, Country House, Camperdown House, whatever it's called. These big pillars. I remember this when it was opened. Yeah, there used to be a cafe and everything in there. It would be nice to see it open again. So it isn't derelict, it's just closed it down. So the video, as I say, the title of the video could say, I was going to call it, some of the buildings are derelict, but I can't really call all the buildings that are filmed derelict. But it'd be nice to see this one open again though. This big massive door, some height, 15 feet maybe. This is the south facing side. And Camperdown Golf Course is just along there a bit. It's quite a nice building actually. So this is coming round to the west side of the building. So this is going down towards the golfing room, changing rooms. I mean, part of this building might still be open actually for the golfing and that. But the main bit's certainly closed. It's been closed for many years. So this is like making my way around to the north boundary of the house. And Duck Pond is just up that road a bit on the left. Right, so that's his done the Camperdown house. I've videoed that for you and photographed it. So I'm going to move on to my next place for the video. Okay? Thanks for watching that bit. Right, my next stop's at an old street in Dundee called Douglas Street, and I'm going to do a wee bit of filming round about here. It's an old mills and that are basically round about here, so I'll get this camera turned round and I'll start filming for you. Okay? So this is just sort of in the centre of Dundee. It's on the outskirts of the city centre, like your where the old mills were. This is the old part of Dundee. Now obviously this street is still used. I mean, this road's obviously, there's still businesses and houses up there. The old mills have been converted into flats, but there's some of them that this one on the left is in a bit of a condition that probably, I don't think they'll be opening that. I don't know what they're going to do with that. It's listed, I guess, but it's been shut for many years. Zoom this in. Asbestos roof. Asbestos roof, keep off, that's what that sign is saying. Obviously they used asbestos in the earlier days. So it's got for sale on there, so I don't know what the plans are for it. This is coming up for Lower Pleasance. That's the name of this street. So I don't know what they're doing with this. Been shut for many years, obviously, as you could tell. But it's got for sale, so and this is Douglas Street where it reaches Brook Street. On the other side of the road. It's just at the other side of the Douglas Street. You get good food out there. I know who runs it. If you want a nice filled roll, try the Scoff place. It's just down in there. You just follow the signs, it's just down there. So this is Mills East Wind, where it meets Douglas Street. Right, so I've done filming and photographing around Douglas Street with the old mill. It's obviously used for a lot of artwork. As you can see all that up there. So, right, so that's another part of Old Dundee, so I'm going to move on to my next part. Right, now I'm at the old Baldovan house. That's what's behind me here. Now it's took me a wee bit to find it. It's going to be getting dark shortly, so I'm going to have to be, this will just be very brief. So it's obviously quite well, ruined. It's a ruin. So back there is Strathmartin. Strathmartin Hospital's in that west direction, in the westerly direction. And Dundee's obviously, that's down in the south. Down in that direction, which is facing south. So this is just on the north edge of Dundee, this Baldovan house. So I'll try and get around here as quickly as I can because it's going to get dark shortly. Right, so I'll get this turned for you, okay? So there's some size of hogweed here. I mean, this is really massive. Blooming heck, it's huge. So this would be the south facing wall of the house. So once again, it's a dangerous building. You really shouldn't be coming in here. And that's asbestos roof lining. So that's what they use for old roofing, the old buildings and that. But I mean, it's very dangerous. It's lots of big slabs of masonry that could fall down. It's in a ruined condition. Hogweed's absolutely huge. Jeez, the size. Right, just to put into perspective how tall this hogweed is. I'm 6 foot tall, right, and I only come up to about here. Look how much further it goes. Yeah, that's how big it is. It's absolutely massive. It's really quite thick as well. I mean, you don't want to touch that stuff because there's acid in it that could really give you a nasty sting. So, but this stuff here, that grey stuff is asbestos, so just be warned of that. Okay, right, that's us for today's film. So this is Baldovan House, and this is the last one for today. Because I've got to get going, it's going to get dark soon, and it's well, an early shift again tomorrow, so pretty much show you all the stuff. This is it's the east facing wall. It's the east direction there, and I've got the divider rooms that's looking in the west direction. Right, so that'll do it for today, and I'll see you on the next part. Okay, thanks for watching part A, and I hope you enjoyed that, and look forward to watching part B. Okay, thanks.